Have you ever wondered what happens when a mother's silent suffering meets a son's unbreakable love? Buckle up. This heart-wrenching, true-to-life tale from suburban Atlanta will leave you in tears, reminding us all of the sacrifices we often take for granted. In the quiet suburbs of suburban Atlanta, Georgia, where oak trees line the streets like silent guardians and neighbors still wave from porches with warm smiles, lived 72-year-old widow Eleanor Hayes and her devoted 35-year-old son, Michael. Eleanor, a retired school teacher who'd poured her soul into shaping young minds for decades, had always been the unyielding rock of their family. After her beloved husband passed from a sudden heart attack 10 years ago, she'd raised Michael alone, juggling endless lesson plans with his soccer practices, wiping away his tears during tough times, and whispering encouragements into the night about chasing his dreams. "You're my light, Mikey," she'd say, her voice soft like a lullaby, even as exhaustion etched lines on her face. Now, Michael was a thriving software engineer in the city, married to a kind woman with a bubbly toddler of their own. He made the hour-long drive home every weekend without fail, bringing groceries and stories, but deep down, he sensed something was breaking in his mom, a pain she hid behind her brave smiles. It began as a subtle thief in the night, that cruel sciatica, a fiery nerve pain radiating from her lower back down her right leg like bolts of lightning. At first, it was just a nagging twinge after tending her beloved rose garden, the one she'd planted with little Michael years ago, their tiny hands dirty with soil as they laughed under the sun. But over time, it morphed into an unrelenting monster. Mornings became her enemy. She'd wake up in agony, her leg numb and throbbing, forcing her to grip the bed frame just to stand. Simple joys turned to torture. Brewing her morning coffee brought winces. Walking to the mailbox felt like crossing a battlefield. "Oh, it's nothing, just getting old," she'd murmur to Michael during visits, forcing a chuckle while tears pricked her eyes in secret. But alone at night, the pain isolated her like a cold fog, stealing her sleep and her spirit. Flashbacks haunted her, chasing a giggling Michael around the backyard, her legs strong and free, dancing at his wedding, ignoring the early aches to twirl with him one last time. Now, those memories mocked her as she sat in her recliner, wondering if she'd ever feel whole again. One fateful, crisp autumn Sunday, Michael arrived unannounced, his heart heavy with an unspoken worry. He found her in that worn recliner, face ashen, a heating pad pressed desperately against her hip, her hands trembling as she tried to hide the pain. "Mom, you look like you're carrying the world," he said, his voice breaking as he knelt before her, eyes searching hers. She tried to wave it off. "Just a little ache, honey, don't fuss." But when she rose to embrace him, a sharp, involuntary cry escaped her lips, her body buckling as the pain shot through her like fire. Michael's world stopped. Tears welled in his eyes as he caught her, holding her fragile frame. He'd ignored the signs too long, letting her pride shield the truth. Not anymore. "Mom, this ends now," he whispered fiercely, his throat tight with emotion. "You've given me everything, your time, your dreams, your heart. I can't lose you to this." In that moment, flashbacks flooded him, her cheering wildly at his high school graduation, her uniform still on from a double shift, the night she sold her precious necklace to buy his first computer, saying, "Your future is worth more than gold." She'd sacrificed her youth, her health for him. Now he'd move mountains for her. Over a humble dinner of her signature meatloaf, the one she'd made for him since childhood, the dam of emotions burst. "Remember when I fell off my bike and broke my arm?" Michael said, his voice quivering. "You held me all night in the ER, singing silly songs to distract me from the pain. How can I let you suffer alone?" Eleanor's eyes filled with tears, her walls crumbling as she confessed the depth of her torment, the missed outings with her grandson, the skipped church gatherings where she'd once found solace, the nights she cried into her pillow, feeling like a burden. "I didn't want to drag you down, Mikey," she sobbed, her voice raw. "You've built such a beautiful life." Michael pulled her into a gentle hug, tears streaming down his face. "Drag me down? Mom, you're my anchor. Without you, I'm lost. We're fighting this together. I love you more than words can say." From that day, Michael became her warrior. He dove into research on his laptop, learning how sciatica often stemmed from a pinched nerve, worsened by her years of standing in classrooms, molding futures while ignoring her own body. He booked an urgent appointment with Atlanta's finest neurologist, brushing aside her worries about the cost. "You're priceless to me," he said, his eyes fierce with love. The following weeks were a whirlwind of raw emotion and hope. Michael rearranged his life, taking leave from work to ferry her to physical therapy. There, under the gentle guidance of PT Lisa, Eleanor learned healing stretches, slow cat-cow poses on the mat that brought tears of frustration at first, then relief. Michael was by her side every step, holding her hand during flare-ups, massaging her back with warm oils scented like lavender from her garden. "You're the strongest woman I know, Mom," he'd whisper, choking back sobs as she pushed through the pain. Flashbacks wove through their days. Young Michael at her husband's funeral, clinging to her skirt as she stood tall despite her shattered heart. Her skipping meals so he could have art supplies for school projects. Roles reversed now, their bond deepened in vulnerability, each therapy session a testament to unbreakable love. Then the miracle unfolded. After 2 grueling months, the pain that had imprisoned her began to fade, like shadows retreating at dawn. Eleanor walked without that dreaded limp, knelt in her rose garden with ease, and one joyful afternoon she scooped up her grandson for a twirl, laughter echoing like music she'd long forgotten. The transformation wasn't just physical, it healed their souls. Michael, overwhelmed, captured their journey on video, shaky clips of her first pain-free steps, her tear-streaked face beaming with gratitude, his voiceover trembling with emotion. "This is for every family hiding behind smiles," he shared on YouTube. Overnight, it exploded into viral content, millions of views pouring in from heartbroken viewers across America. Comments flooded like a river of shared tears. "Crying at work. My mom has the same pain. Booking her appointment now. This viral story saved my relationship with my aging dad. Thank you." Families everywhere were inspired, reaching out to loved ones, turning silent suffering into stories of hope. As the sun set on their porch one golden evening, Eleanor squeezed Michael's hand, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "You gave me back my life, son," she whispered, voice thick with emotion. He pulled her close, sobbing softly. "No, Mom, you are my life. We saved each other." Their tale, now legendary viral content, echoes a timeless truth. Love's gentle persistence can conquer even the fiercest pain. If this story left you wiping away tears and hugging your loved ones tighter, hit that like button, subscribe for more soul-stirring real-life tales that go straight to the heart, and share it far and wide. Let's make healing viral. What's a hidden pain you've helped heal in your family? Pour your heart out in the comments below.